Welcome to Little Victories, the self-help comedy podcast that proves success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Hosted by fast-talking firecracker Richie DeFrisco and the ever-sly Pat the Cat Murray with the Pat Facts. This is Little Victories.
Welcome to the Little Victories podcast, the podcast that deals with subject matter experts in their respective fields and the hardships that they've went through over the course of time, and they stayed relevant and kept going and are deemed successful. And again, success is ambiguous, but these people have been through it, still doing it, and in our eyes, they're tremendous successes. And we like to share their stories with you guys, inspire you guys to keep going and learn something about what our special guests are doing. I have a very special guest today. I'm very happy to have Don the Gwop, the longest-running recording studio in Westchester County. I'm here with my guest. I'm here with my co-host, Pat Murray. Pat, say hi.
Hey, how we doing, people? Thanks for tuning in.
We're going to check some Pat facts today to go over some statistical information about small businesses, entrepreneurship, the rate of success, how many people fail when they try to start this stuff, and how many people actually make it. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome my very special guest, Don the Gwop.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
Don.
Donnie. So you have the longest running recording studio in Westchester County.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's the most, I would say, probably been in business the longest. Altogether, almost about 15 years now between this facility and the original one.
So that means you survived the pandemic.
Yeah, we were, so the pandemic was, 4.5 years ago already, right? So, yeah, we were already I was a decade in, and it hit, right? Yeah.
Did you get fucked?
Yeah.
You did?
The whole building closed. So they were like, you're legally, you're not allowed to be open. And I told my landlord, I was like, well, I have a lot of guys that are in this place, so he's like, what I don't see, I won't say, basically, right? So I had everybody here had one day a week, and we just stayed alive. It's crazy. It was not easy. It was not an easy easy thing to do.
Do you think if you tried to start this during you tried to go in? First of all, there's so many questions about entrepreneurship. Like, this is something I've been obsessed with for years, but I seem to fail at everything I do. I've become the king of failure. I tried to start an independent fashion magazine years ago online by myself. That didn't work out. And the million other artistic ventures I've been through that I just keep not succeeding at. But the idea of entrepreneurship is something that I strive for. There's a quote about, and I have to find that. I am going to actually look this up. It's about a life shaped by choice and not by obligation. And it's that's the thing that's not having to answer to somebody where it's I've been treated like shit in the construction industry for so long. I'm pretty much over it. But you don't have to answer to anybody. No one's going to sit there and disrespect you.
No. That's why, before I started this, I had a really good gig. Worked for a guy, treated me very well for about 6 years. I basically did what he asked me to do. That's all I want to say, right? Whatever he asked me to do. Did investments and stuff. And he always told me I was better than what I did for him. That's what he told me. You're better than what you do for me.
Wow.
You can do whatever you want. And, when he retired, I was left with nothing. He gave me a little severance. He was 62, 63 at the time. Gave me a little severance, and I was like, all right, what am I going to do with this? I'm living in a shitty apartment, and I made decent money. I was working 4 hours a day making good money, and everything else was overtime. So it was pretty good. And I was young, and I remember my ex said to me, what are you going to do? You're down to your last $400. And I was like, I'm going to open a studio. She looked at me like I was fucking nuts. I was crazy. She's like, what are you going to do? $400? So I was, I had done some mixes for a guy that had a studio not too far from here. And I found a place for rent down the block from that studio from some dude that had a wedding, a photography place for weddings. But it was the place was a disaster. He looked like he was on something. And I go in and he has this little office. He's $600 a month. And I'm like, I could put a studio in here. At $400 now, that's it. But he's like, I'll work with you, don't worry. Like the place, like, you know when you walk in somebody's office and it's just like stuff everywhere? Like they're not even open to the public, it looks like. It was like that. And then I told my buddy about it, and he was like, why have an empty room? But he wanted more money. He was like, just give me the $400, move in, and owe me the balance in the next month's rent. And I think he wanted $700 a month for the room. Room about this size. And I said to him, I was like, all right, I'll do it. Why not? Because I felt like that place was a recording studio. It was a nicer place. And I had no equipment. I had like a little computer, some monitors, okay mic. And that first week I made $1,000. And I never looked back. Like I literally borrowed money to like build a booth and have my little brother help me build a booth. And like from the bottom, for real. And I had a little studio at home previously because I've always done music. I went to college for music. But I was just like, just gonna go for it. I made $1,000. I had my rent due. My rent was $1,100 in that apartment. So I was like, I made my rent already. Let's just keep going. I just never looked back. It's been like that for 15 years now, just about.
What are the hardest times you've been through? Like things where it's like, shit, it's getting a little hard.
Pandemic.
The pandemic.
I was booked for 10 years.
Consistently
For 10 years. Since the pandemic, I would say 2002 to now, you know, a little bit, because, you know, you got to realize that after the pandemic, everybody was home. So people started recording at home, but they still send me the stuff to mix. So for me, I don't mind that either. I'm still busy. Like, I got to say, like, I think a lot of places went out of business, and we've been fortunate, man. Me and my guys, I know they probably like, how the hell did they keep this place open? But we kept it open, you know? Like, we stayed alive.
It's funny with the pandemic because it was the opposite with me. I made a fucking fortune during the pandemic. I sold more weed during the pandemic than you could fucking imagine. First of all, they're sitting at home, all they're bored out of their minds. Now they're getting these fucking, what do they call them? What are those checks, Pat?
The PPP?
The stimulus checks?
Stimulus checks.
Oh.
They're sitting home getting high all day. They give me all their money. It was so... I reference that because I talk about money all the time, and we should all live in abundance. I want to live in abundance. I think it's the right thing, but it's not the most important thing in the world. So I'm a spiritual guy.
Definitely not.
It's because it's like I made more money then than I've ever made in my life, and I was borderline fucking suicidal because there was making nothing but money. Essentially, at the grand scheme of things, I want to die as an artist. That's all I want to do is work on my art projects, work on my film projects, work on whatever creative ideas come inside my crazy mind. And when I was doing that, the only thing I was making was money. And these people drive you fucking crazy.
Yeah. You know, I think that, like, I tell people all the time when they ask, like, for advice, I said, I've been, like, rich and poor a million times, of course. You know, you're an entrepreneur. You're only going to get out of anything what you put into it. So, you know, if you're willing to sit in the studio and work. So I've worked 23 hours in one day. Like, no joke. Like, when I wanted to open this place up, when I was in that little room, I was in there grinding out so hard because I couldn't believe I could make money from doing something I love to do. So I was just sitting there all fucking day.
Just grinding and dreaming. Now, I know I could start off with a Pat fact there. I know a lot of people want to be small business owners, entrepreneurs, to be your own boss, and I think you kind of spoke on that a little bit. Really great, you know, to cut you a break on the $200 and able to get you started.
No, he didn't cut me a break. He was like, I want 7.
Yeah.
You have 4. Mm-hmm. Give me the 4 and owe me the 3. So that next month I owed him $1,000.
Yeah. So even then. Okay.
But I basically like just opened up and made that $1,000 that week. Yeah. So I just never looked back. Within a couple of months, I was a partner there. Like, I was the drive at that studio. Like, I remember there's guys that I took from that studio that are with me here that I was so busy. I had them in the owner's room. This is no joke. In the owner's room recording. Interns. Guys that just wanted to be in the music because the owner had no business. I had all the business and I had the overflow going in there. And I was paying them. I think they were making $10 a piece per hour. And then the owner would make a piece and I would make a piece and I would process. Back when Pro Tools, years ago, Pro Tools, you used to have to listen to the record when you processed it. What they call the mix down or the bounce. So I would have 3 minutes and I would run into the A room, mix that song, set it all up, have them bounce it, and go back to work in that room. And that's how it would be all night long. All night long, all night long. And that's how my B room guys got started. They're still with me to this day. You know, there's 2 of them. Big shout to E-Man and Diesel. So you have to grind. Like, you're not going to get anything out. You want it, you got to go for it. I don't care what it is. Like, I know, like, girls that are always like, oh, I want to do OF. I'm like, so go do it. You see these people making $43 million a year, go for it. That's your business. Who cares, right? You know, but a lot of people do a lot of talking. You just have to, you literally like you're a horse with the blinders on. You just got to fucking walk and say, I'm going to go for it. You know what I mean? But this, you know, doing what I want to do when I want to do it has afforded me pretty decent life. Can't complain. And you know, life is good, right?
Because I'm a working professional, I take myself very serious, even though I pretend to be stupid. Last night, I decided to prepare for this. On the Headway app, I'm listening to all of the 50 Cent entrepreneurship audiobooks. And, you know, one of the things that I came across is like, he says, and I like this, he goes, it's about building a strong team. And what he says is 50 Cent says, you're only as strong as the weakest person on your crew.
If you have a crew. See, over here, I just afford people an opportunity to be their own boss. So everybody that's down with this place that I have here is their own boss. I don't want to be the boss. I want to be the boss of me. And I don't want to be the boss of anybody else. I want to give them freedom. Every person in here is their own boss. That's why my company is called Union Music Studio. We are unified. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you want to get money? Pay your rent? You're good to go, bro. Like
a barber chair.
Yeah, and I think I'm the first studio to ever do that. You know what I mean? I think like when I break it down, I say to myself, you know, I remember when I first was thinking of opening a bigger place. Like I was in a little 400 square foot room. I outgrew that place within a year and a half. It was just, I wanted more. And the owner of that, or my semi-partner, or however you want to call him, he didn't want to see me grow. Like there was a lot of like of that, you know, oh, you want to go to the small room? Because I was the B room in that place. You know, the B room is the secondary room. He opened it, so he was the A room. And at this time, I'm buying more equipment, right? Because I started that, I didn't have anything. So by the time, like, I left there in a year and a half, I had, like, real deal equipment, like, because I was already the best engineer around. Like, there was nobody doing the things that I was doing for the money I was doing it. You know what I mean? You at that time, you can come to my studio for $40 an hour, and you do 2 hours, you got 2 songs, and you're leaving with 2 songs mixed. Right? So now we're going back 15 years ago. That was like, people were like, who's doing that? Nobody's doing that. Right. You know, so I kept pushing it, and I'm like, I'm gonna show out. I'm gonna show these guys they can't fuck with me. You know, you do it like the street, right? Some people hustle whatever they hustle. You were hustling weed. I sell time for a living. And selling time is the hardest thing to sell. Like, yeah, like, come on, pay me $100 an hour. Come hang out with me. Right? Because I do what I love, so I'm mixing your song. And, you know, some people go for it, some people don't. But at the end of the day, go over to that studio and go pay $35 an hour, and I guarantee you it's going to sound like shit. Like I do, you know? Like
you're like Doctor Strange.
I guess. I don't even know who that is. But
Doctor Strange is a Marvel character who's in charge of time.
Yeah. But, you know, you should never do... You know what the problem I find with studios and with any... Being an entrepreneur and unless... Like, when you're selling yourself, right? Because right? People want to work with me now, right? So they hire me to do a specific task for them, and that's how I make my money. The problem with that is that you're always selling time for money, right? That's the problem with that. Now with the internet and the way things are going, there's other ways to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that in the future businesses that I start, I won't be selling my time for money. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I'm going to go at it. Like, people want to learn how to start a business? Subscribe. You know what I mean? I think that lane for me is probably the next level. I also do some consulting, and I advise people on how to set, you know, businesses up. You know, I also, you know, consult artists. I tell artists how to be artists, because I was an artist at one time. You know, people think that rappers are just, oh, I'm going to go rap on the microphone, and I'm going to make a hot song and it'll blow up. Yeah, but if you look like a bum and you're rapping about money, nobody's going to buy your music, right? So people hire me to do that as well. Like, if anybody needs advice, you know, if people are friends of mine or friends of a friend, I just, you know, I'll chop it up with them, but... You know, I am a consultant. If people need stuff done, like if you say to me, Gwop, I want to open a dispensary, right? Because you're in the weed business. I'm not too sure how to go about it. Okay, for X amount of dollars, give me 1 week, and I will give you the way to do it. Guaranteed.
Oh, you know how to break down a business like that?
Like that.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
You're on that. You're on that level.
Yeah. People call me to help them start their LLCs.
Oh.
You know, it's. I've done that too. So
I really like what you said. I think in this life, the two resources we really need to have is money and time.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were selling that time, it really just unique and hits the nail on the head. And, you know, your time is very valuable. Your time, the time you're spending with us right now, the time you're spending, you know, educating our guests, really is just an amazing thing. Just kind of to throw back into the momentum of the Pat Facts, I got a couple of things here that interested to see if you agree or disagree with. So the Small Business Administration said that about 20% of entrepreneurs fail within the first year, and over 50% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. Obviously, that's not you. To your experience, I think, you know, you would agree.
I don't believe those statistics. I think those statistics are just statistics. Like right now, like I've been thinking of doing some other businesses, like even as my consulting business, right? What does it take me to start that?
Nothing. I mean,
absolutely nothing. $25 at Staples, a business card, and a $220 LLC on the .gov site. Search the name up, whatever name you want, dog shit consulting, whatever you want to call it.
I like
Boom.
that.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your knowledge is wealth. I think a lot of people I think like that's the biggest problem with kids nowadays is they're not knowledge hungry. Like, you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s primarily. I'm an 80s baby, but I'm a 90s kid. And I just want knowledge. I just always want more. Like anything that if I could learn how they laminate this desk, I want to know how they did that. And by looking at it, they probably use some sort of heat, right? So this is PVC, right? It's plastic, right? They probably heat shrink it on. It's probably made overseas, right? But how do they do it? You know, everything. Like, and a lot of people now, they don't care about shit, you know? And that's why you have the chicks doing OF and you have guys breaking and bashing jewelry stores. Yep. Nobody's knowledge hungry, you know? And I think that's where businesses are changing. You see all these places going out of business. I don't see many, other than smoke shops and fucking bodegas, I don't see anything opening up.
And nail salons. They're everywhere.
Oh, yeah, nail salons and eyelash studios. I almost opened one of those at one time.
Would you agree that based on that, I think a lot of people are interested in the end result and not the work, the shortcuts almost?
Yeah, you know, what is a shortcut, right? Like if you're walking down the street and you find $100,000 in the bag and you decide to go open a bodega with that $100,000, was finding that $100,000 a shortcut? You know what I mean? Like, what is a shortcut? Because people start in their house doing anything. So it's somebody that, you know, I think that if you can just have an idea and implement that idea and become successful, no matter how you do it, right?
With your recording studio, you've had a lot of independent musicians.
Yeah.
But you had podcasters, etc.
Yeah, I've done commercials.
Who
everything.
are some of the coolest people you've had in your space in the last 15 years?
Some of them I can't talk about. I got NDAs on some of them. But I'm just going to say this. I think that working with the unsigned independent artists from any genre has been my true passion in this. Like, you can work with somebody that's big and hype and, you know, and you can say, oh, yo, you worked with him? Yeah, but isn't it cooler that you're like, wow, that kid went from nothing to 700,000 streams. Wow, you work with him? You helped make that? You know, I think that that's where my passion for this comes from. Like, because if, you know, a lot of big names work with a lot of big engineers, right?
But you've had these younger kids come in there
thousands.
as nothing, bottom of the barrel.
Thousands.
And all of a sudden now...
Like, I've had guys go, I have one client in particular. I don't work with him anymore. He moved out of state. But when he came to me, we did a record, and I remember he did like 9 million streams in 6 months. And we went to the labels, and I found him a lawyer, and he called me. Like, Gwop, I need you. Like, help me find the lawyer. Brought him to one of the top entertainment attorneys he hired in New York. And, you know, we went to the labels, negotiated a deal. I negotiated the deal pretty damn good, to the point if they didn't do X, Y, and Z, we wanted the song back. So you can give us money, but if you don't accomplish X, Y, and Z within this perimeter, I want the song back. And that's exactly what they did. They drew the contract up like that. He called me, I'll never forget, the label executive called me a wolf. He's like, you're a fucking wolf. And then the artist went and got his medallion made, and it was a wolf for his label. So it was cool little story. Big shout out to him. He knows who he is.
Homage.
But yeah, I've been fortunate, man. I would have never thought that I could do what I love and make a living doing it and be happy and I was surviving, man. I was like, I'm never gonna work with somebody again.
But see, now I found you through a friend of mine, Michael Cuomo. Shout out to you.
Shout out
I
to
love
Mike
you,
Cuomo.
buddy. You're my man. So, he met you at a local
It was
catering hall.
Yeah,
and you were receiving an award.
Yeah.
What was it award for? Because I hear that you like to give back a lot.
Yeah, like I have there's a company out here that helps a lot of kids called Teens Under Construction. Big shout out to Yogi and Shamar. They approached me. Yogi approached me, got to be 5 or 6 years ago when they started the company, like before she had an office. Like they're social workers, they're in the community. And she does hip hop therapy. So she had started bringing groups of women to me, that troubled backgrounds, groups of boys to me. And, I basically sat and kind of just guided them through making, some of these people never made music in their life. They were doing it as a therapy thing. And then years later, we just kept doing it. And they did a gala. They had a gala last year, and they presented me with, I was like a top support, meaning that I was I hooked them up, basically. I helped guide the program and did a lot for, you give people hope, man. Some of these people have nothing. You're dealing with kids that really have nothing, parents, it's fucked up. So for me, if music is their outlet, I'm going to encourage and nurture their talents, right? You do it like this. Yeah, you did good there, but next time you do it, deliver it like this. I guide people through their music. I'm not the guy that's going to sit there and just okay, that was great. I don't do that shit. I'm like, no, do that shit again. Give me more soul. Give me more heart, And that's how I do it. And with kids, it works because, especially kids that are going through that, they don't have anybody, patting them on the fucking back. God knows they might get pat with the belt. They're not getting pat in the back. They're not saying, good fucking job, dude. That song's fire. You know what I mean? Nobody's telling them that. And most parents aren't going to believe in when some kid rapping or singing. Like I got lucky. My parents believed in me. I was fortunate. That's what led me to be able to do all what I do. But, man, some people, it's just like anything else. You're a painter, and oh, that was a nice doodle. Did you see Timmy's doodle? And then Timmy's 35 years old and doing Picasso art and fucking in galleries. And she's like, I always nurtured him. Yeah, because he made it. But before they make it, nobody nurtures them. I don't care what you do. Whether you're a fucking garbage man, delivering news fucking papers, whatever the fuck you do. Nobody's going to nurture you until you make it. That's how it is, especially as an entrepreneur, right? But just as a kid. So that was the program. They gave me an award. I met Mike. He was the bartender there. Told me he did music. I gave him my card. He called me. I just completed his first album. Really, really good project. It's coming out. It's out. It dropped. We dropped it. And now he's waiting to press up some vinyl and CDs and stuff because he likes the old school approach for promo. And Mike's a great guy.
He's a lunatic, right?
Nah, that's my kind of lunatic.
He's batshit crazy.
His talent is unmatched. See, I went to his gallery and we talk about a lot of things. And Mike is awesome.
He's been mentoring me for 15 years.
My guy.
We're yin and yang.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
My guy.
I need him in my life at all times.
No, he has a heart of gold, that guy.
We're technically married, me and Mike.
Oh, awesome.
Which is amazing.
You ever have kids? Godfather status.
They'll be good looking. Hopefully they got his beautiful blue eyes and not my brown shit eyes. So, it clearly means a lot because not only are you running your own business, you don't answer to nobody.
Nope.
But at the same time, it's not like listen, I already know the quality of person you are. That it means a lot to you that you're sitting there helping people, especially kids that don't come from a lot.
Yeah.
They might have no financial background. Parents don't want to hear no.
If they have parents.
If they have parents.
That's that. With their particular program, she would. Yogi's amazing because she would go to like Valhalla jail, Westchester County Jail. Record these people however she was recording them and send me files. And can you mix this? And I would mix it for her and send it back. Send it to her. She would give it to the juvie kids. But she's great. And they gave me an award. Superior gave me an award too. Big shout out to Superior. DMX's DJ from Yonkers. He gave me an award in I think it was the 2024, the PS 2250 Years of Hip Hop Award or something like that. It was called. That was pretty cool from like the city of Yonkers and stuff. So we've been grinding, and I don't do it for that. I just do it because I knew that I'm from 914. Nobody in 914 was doing music for people, at a quality that was competitive. And regardless if I was in the street or I was fucking riding a bike or I was working on a car, I'm a competitive person. I don't play sports. I'm competitive at life. You know what I mean? So I knew if I opened the studio, they wasn't gonna be able to fuck with me, and they haven't been able to fuck with me over a decade.
So you don't do sports. You don't know what?
I don't know.
I'm a phenomenal basketball player.
I was on the block with my boys hanging out. We wasn't.
So what's next now? You have a lot of ideas.
Yeah, I don't know what's next. I'm getting older. Been here a long time. Probably eventually step away from this. Probably work it out with one of my guys here, whoever wants it. You know what I mean? And probably go more into consulting full time, because I think that a lot of people don't know how to start businesses, and I think a lot of people can have ideas. Like, you can say, okay, like, here, like, this is I want to make this is a shower mat. I want to promote this shower mat, and I could take that shower mat and I'll sit with it for a day, and I'll be like, all right, I can make it into this. So it's like more product development, like I'm really into, because for 15 years I've done people development. Take an artist, there they go, they're just a person. How do I make them a superstar?
I like that a lot. I like that name you gave it, people development, right? Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as just a self-made guy, you ever hear of small business development centers and things like that?
Nope.
And that's why. No, see, that's why I wanted to ask you, because I went back to school recently, 10 years, never went back, trying to do business administration. They're telling you all these things, government grants, and looking to this, looking to that, and then just talking to you, I think just a very genuine, person to be able to do this for people. And it doesn't even have to come from what you find online. So
I think a lot of people don't know where to start.
yeah.
People just when you start, it's scary because you don't know, but you can't have fear, you have to just go for it. Like, you guys wanted to do this podcast, you would grab yourself by your nuts and say, I'm going to fucking do the podcast. But how many people pace back and forth and say, I'm going to start a podcast? I was one of them. Because I have a lot of my friends tell me, you should do your own podcast, bro. You'd kill it on YouTube. You do this, your personality's crazy. And I'm like, people don't want to hear what the fuck I got to say. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's just me. But, I think just people are scared and people just don't know. The lack of education, lack of common sense is a big factor in especially urban communities, right? Because most people grow up in their little radius and that's it. And what they see now, social media, they see that shit, but they're not worried about how they got it. Like, if you see a rapper with a big chain, these kids see a rapper with a Rolls Royce, they in the street trying to get that. They're not trying to get that the same way those people got it, in the boardrooms, right? Mm-hmm. It's a mind fuck to them. But I think fear is a big factor when people start businesses, and I like to help people, and that's why I say I'm going to go into consulting more. Because I love to mix music, don't get me wrong. I love mixing music. It's one of my great passions in life, right? But I think creating in that aspect where it's like not in an audio file, where it's actually like here, where you can walk into a place and say, wow, you hooked this place up, and just my vast knowledge of everything. I know everything. Like, I'm into everything.
My favorite quote about entrepreneurship is, if you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs.
That's right. It's a fact.
Love that shit.
That's why everybody here is independent. I may be the owner of the space. I may be the leaseholder. It was my idea that started it, but I try to give everybody here an opportunity to have their own dream. And we rock. Like, everybody here has a say. Like, people will tell you, any one of my guys that are here with me and been here with me, they'll tell you, I'm here 3 days a week. That's it. Right? I got another kid that works for me in my room. I'm always hiring engineers. Anybody want to come mix for Gwop? Come try it out. Come hit me up. I'll take a listen to what you do. But yeah, Everybody's independent. I don't want to be anybody's boss.
How can anybody contact you after this episode?
They can hit me up on Instagram at Don the Gwop, DONTHEGWOP, or you could call my phone, 914-510-4056. Shoot me a text, call me. If you're interested in anything, just hit me up.
That's fucking amazing.
Phone's gonna blow up.
So it blows up all day, bro. Probably got like 10 missed calls right now, like, because my number is my number online. It's been online for over a decade.
Yeah.
So the number that you see when you Google the studio, right there. You never want to, look, it's flashing crazy because you don't want to lose money, right? My boy's like, I'm going to hire a receptionist. Okay, pay somebody. Go ahead. Why? Siri's my damn receptionist, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't look at that shit. Like, you can literally start a business doing anything. Like big shout to We Brands, right? My boy here, We Brands, Dash. Dash has multiple businesses here. We're in one of his facilities right now. Great guy, big entrepreneur. I've known him a long time. He started out as a client, became one of my best friends. Same spirit as me, the hunger, the drive. Anytime that I'm feeling down about something, like, I don't know, he's the hunger, the drive. And it's the opposite. Like, he's down, the hunger, the drive. And you need people like that in your life, too. You need people to push you. He has more offices here than anybody else. There's 3 offices in my place. What do we have, 13 offices, Dash? 12 offices here, right? It's like 7,000 square feet down here total. And he's got 3 offices. I got people that used to come here, Gwop, I need an office, bro, what's up? And I have a vacant office. They don't last 1 month. But he's been here years. Everybody here has been here 6 years, 7 years or better. There's no newbies. So everybody here is vets. You know what I mean? And I've had a lot of people come in and out, but these guys have been with me for the long haul. But, yeah, man, the grind doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop.
You got to keep pushing.
But it's a hustle.
Yeah, and you got to have that mentality.
Well, the other saying before I close is that, and I remember hearing this years ago from people that wanted to go into entrepreneurship. But this back many years when I was in Lehman College, I was surrounded by a pretty small group of guys, and it was like they wanted to go into entrepreneurship many years ago. I don't know what they're doing. I haven't spoke to them, but it's like I'd rather work 80 so I don't have to work 40. You ever hear that one?
Yeah. It's when you work for yourself, are you really working? If you do what you love, the money will come. But don't get it fucked up. Your hobby will become your job, and it will become stressful, and there'll be days that you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. But, you got to be grateful because you could be shoveling shit for the next man. Me, I get up every day, and I'm happy. I'm like, fuck it. Life is what you make it, if you make it at all, right? So.
And you have kids?
1, yeah. 1 kid, 7.
And you're his role model.
Yeah, but he's going to college. I went to college. I left early. And he's going to do, like, his mother's a doctor. So he's going to do something, like that, I hope. Like a lawyer or doctor.
So his mother's a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have friends?
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
Well, I don't know. We'll talk about that after. I'm trying to get to the medical field, maybe marry a doctor or nurse.
When I got with her, she's a go-getter too. Salute to her because, we were both like working for other people, and I'm like, she's like, I'm gonna go get my PhD. Go for it, NYU, graduate top of a class, like boom, boom, boom. But I'm gonna push too. You can do it. You can do it. You gotta believe in yourself. Like, see, that was the one thing. Like, I salute my parents for, because they didn't expect much out of us as long as we produced and did what we had to do. But my dad is a go-getter. He's a Dominican, came in from DR at 19. And has raised me and my brother. We basically we wanted for nothing growing up. He's a worker. He didn't give a fuck. And he always told us, you want something, you go get it. I started paying rent at 18 years old. I wanted a new car. Okay, you go get your new car. But, you're going to pay for it. But I got to say, like, that's where it starts too. But if you don't have that and just inside you want to do that, you can go for it. It's scary, you just go for it.
I think the struggle is the greatest blessing that you could possibly have. When you ain't got, my mother said, get a fucking job.
Yeah.
And go to fucking school.
I remember going with my old man, and he was like, come on, we're going to go do a gardening job. My dad was in the union, but he did everything. He didn't give a shit. I learned how to paint I can do anything. You can ask my guys here. If I need to paint something, I will paint this. Like, just because I'm the owner don't mean shit. I vacuum the floors. I mop the floors. I don't give a fuck. I am not scared to get my hands dirty. And that's another problem a lot of people have is I'm going to be the boss. I'm going to just hire people. Okay, go hire people. Go broke. because hiring people costs money. I like low overhead. When I start any business, the lowest possible overhead is key. You know, this facility is not so low, but my first studio was very low overhead. $700 a month, everything included. Self-sufficient, one room, didn't have to worry about anything else. I had a room, my room had access to that bathroom, and the guy that owned the place had the lobby looking good. It's all I cared about. And then from there, you know, we took it to here.
I learned so much from this fucking episode.
I did too. I know I was a little quiet on the Pat facts there just because just a fountain of knowledge.
Low overhead, dude.
I can't thank you enough.
Thanks for having me.
What you just gave to this audience, they are indebted for the information you gave. And if anybody is interested in hitting Don up, he gave you his information. Follow him on his IG. And pretty much that's a wrap for now.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
We
Thank
hope
you.
we see you again fairly soon, especially for collaborating projects.
Hit me up. Anytime you want me on, I'll come bullshit with you guys, man. It's fun.
Bro, we can't thank you enough.
it.
You are my man.
Thank you, man.
So that's the end of our podcast for today. We have some interesting guests coming up in the next few episodes. So stay tuned, and I'd like to give a special shout out to Dash Dubs. Again, thank you for Cinematic Entertainment Studios. Thanks again to Don the Gwop, owner of Union Music Studio. So stay tuned. That's Little Victories for now. Ci vediamo. See you guys later.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to Little Victories. Stay tuned for more wins and more laughs. Follow us at Little Victories Pod on Instagram so you don't miss a thing.